Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. We have an awesome guest today. I'm so excited about this conversation. I've been looking forward to it ever since she got to Minnesota, but covering football and covering basketball sometimes clash, so I haven't had a chance to. Dawn Piltzuweit, the head coach for the Gopher women's basketball team, is here with us today. And if you haven't been paying attention, right now they're undefeated, 7-0-0 going into a game on Friday. So excited to talk to Dawn, a fellow Dawn, that is.
That's right.
Dawn, thank you. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for this opportunity. I listened to your podcast. I think it's incredible.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I did play high school, just through basketball through high school. And then that's kind of where my career ended. I was more of a soccer player, but I have loved women's basketball since the jump, no pun intended. And this past year coming off it, and I'm sure you as someone who played as well and a head coach, you must be loving the resurgence. I hate to even use that word, but finally maybe the eyeballs on women's basketball. How are you feeling about that right now?
Well, I think we have an incredible opportunity right now to capitalize on that. And that's exactly what our program is trying to do. But it's great. I think it's so neat that young girls, fans through the ages, and we have a wide variety, have a chance to see our young ladies perform at a high level. And then I really do believe this about our young women at Minnesota. They are just incredible spokeswomen and role models as well.
What I love about this team is you've been through adversity last year in your first season and your young women came through. I know that you haven't even played a Big Ten game yet now, but to start off the season, not only undefeated, but all of your starters in your win over Montana were in double digits. And I know that you're a coach that is on defense. That is like, let's be defensive minded, but to have the scoring kind of off the charts this early and give some people confidence, how important was that coming off that win over Montana?
Well, we've had an interesting season so far because the storyline going into the last few games is that our bench has been scoring a lot of points. Our bench points are among the top in the country. And so it was great to see our starters be the ones to, in that game, be the ones to kind of carry us from a scoring load. Now, ultimately, it doesn't matter who does that, whether it's the players that start the game or the players that come off the bench. Ultimately, we have to find a way to continue to mesh and continue to grow and continue to evolve as the season progresses. And that what's really neat to see is that's what's happening right now.
Well, and in the first quarter, too, I think you held the Lady Grizz to a season low 7 points. So defense off the block, too. I hate when people say the term buying in, but your young women really understand how important defense is, too. And that sometimes it's hard to drill into young basketball players' minds, but it seems that your women get it.
Well, we're a lot better defensively this year than we were last year. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we have a number of returners who have improved. Their understanding has improved, their strength, their awareness has improved, their trust in each other, and they can, and trust in themselves too. You know, they can go make a play. There are times when, even in our last game, we didn't know that Amaya, we say that sometimes the spirit moves you to go make a play. And when the spirit moves you to go make a play, your teammates have to cover up for you because it can be a spectacular play or we can give something up very, very easy. And so it's good to see our players who are returners really understanding that. And then our newcomers really picking up and they've added size, strength, athleticism, and they've caught on very, very quickly. Our ability to learn how to do things differently is much better this year than it was last year. Our ability to learn and make adjustments is actually pretty high right now for this early in the season. And so we need that to continue, obviously.
Well, another adjustment is once again Mara Braun, and my heart just breaks for her, re-breaking that same bone in her right foot.
Tough.
That's got to be so hard.
It's so hard. And this is a story that I've shared a few different times, is that, you know, when you look at how you react to a situation, and everyone talks about your emotional response, your intelligence, all those type of things. The response to that. So in shoot around on a Wednesday at whatever time, let's say our game's at 7, so at 2:30, she feels a crunch in her foot. She planted and feels a crunch. Gets an X-ray. It's assessed a couple hours before the game that she's rebroken that bone. And then she comes to the game 3 or 4 hours later, and she has a boot on and she has a smile on her face.
Wow.
And so did she feel like smiling at that point in time?
No,
obviously not. She had done everything right, from taking care of her nutrition, adding lean muscle mass, to everything that she could do. She controlled every part of this that she can control. And unfortunately, another bad situation occurred for her. The chances of that happening are very, very small, but it happened. And so now her response to that is going to be something that really shows her character. And her character was on display a few hours later, doing everything she could to help her team be as successful as possible, while she doesn't even know what that next step is, no pun intended, what the next step is going to look like
right.
for her in terms of, is there surgery, not surgery, what type of surgery, all those type of things. She hasn't figured any of that out yet because she hasn't met the specialist, but she's doing everything she can to help her team be successful. And what an incredible example for our young ladies who are in our program. Things don't always go your way, but yet you can choose your response. And so I was just so impressed with how she is battling back, and she's going to come back better than ever. I know that about her. I know her character, and I really believe in that young lady.
When I saw how she reacted on the bench, and because, cameras are on, people are looking, to be that young and to handle that emotionally, and to not let your mind race down like, oh my gosh, I might miss another year, or I might to be that strong. I learned a lesson as an adult in terms of how to handle things and how to also set the tone for your team as well, because your young players are looking at her for her response. I think I read somewhere Maya Battle said that they were getting her lip stuff and just cute little gifts just to show how much they love her as well. That the response from the teammates really warmed my heart as well.
Well, I think this is a very, very special group of young women, and that's what they do. There's a book that we read books with our team during the spring, during the summer. We have a lot of free time then. During the school year, we don't have any more time to read books. They're doing all their studying and everything, but you talk, one of the greatest books, and we haven't read it with our team here yet, but one of the best books that we read with the team, and it was after COVID, and then there was the next year going into where we thought games would be normal. You wouldn't be wearing a mask. But there's a book called The Obstacle is the Way. And we share stories from that book with our young ladies. We're going through right now as a team, just sharing stories with them from a book called Every Moment Matters. And we really believe that about our program, is that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And you can talk about it as a program, but the reality is when your players live that, and that's what our players are doing right now, it just speaks volumes of who they are, and there's going to be positive momentum because of that. Whether that impacts this team and the success it has on the court, but also more importantly, how it impacts others. And so when you said that, I got a chill, Dawn, when you talked about how you were impacted by it.
Yes, I was, because again, you can speak it all you want. We all want to think that we're going to handle life's obstacles well. And I know many adults that do not. They'll come out, they'll pout, or they're frustrated because they're in their own heads. They're not bad people, but they're thinking, not again. Why me? Rather than coming out and being like, I can't change it. But what can I change? I can handle my response. So for a young female basketball player with all eyes on her in her comeback season, it was remarkable to me.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I just think it sets her up. I know in your last podcast you talked about females going on from athletics to being CEOs or CFOs, yes, or whatever it is. Their leadership carries over. It's a gift that you have an opportunity to be a part of an athletic program, a team, competitive. There's adversity, there's find a way, there's teamwork, there's all of that. Well, those are skills that transcend just your sport and carry over into the next area of your life, whether it's being a mother, a spouse, whatever it is. And so that what's great about it is that's a transformational quality, and Mara has that. Now, that's going to suit her well into her future and her teammates at the same time.
Well, you speak about some of the teammates they had to step up in her stead last year. You have Amaya Battle, Grace, Mallory. They got a lot of experience that, if you're looking for silver linings, I'm not really a silver lining person. I'm more pragmatic, but I like to look on the positive side. The experience and the maturity that they had thrown at them last year will serve you well again right now. Don't you believe?
Well, it has to. And I believe that they want to do really well. There's a desire to do really well. At the same time, then there has to be an understanding of what it takes to be the best that we can be. And every team is slightly different based upon the skill set. How much can we, let's, for example, pressure the basketball? Should we front the post? Should we play behind the post? What sets us up to succeed at the highest level? And then we've been fortunate in adding 6 newcomers this year that I believe have given us a boost as well in different ways. And that's been really, really valuable and really important. And so they're feeding off of each other and helping each other. We really believe this for our program, that when our program becomes a player-led program where they are coaching each other, where they are problem solving within the course of the game, then we're really going to take off. And I do believe having those returners, having the opportunities that they've now seen it, and now they can problem solve during the course of the game without us. Because the reality is, as coaches, we only get to call 4 timeouts in the game. That's it. Right. And in women's basketball, you would love to be able to save them for the fourth quarter to advance the basketball if you would like to do that in the last minute of the game. So you really have to use your media timeouts that occur, and our players have to be able to solve problems during the game and understand how to do that without necessarily being told exactly what that looks like, because they may be on the other end of the court at that point in time and may not hear us. And so that's been something that I believe that experience allows us the opportunity now to have seen it, have gone through it, and then hopefully have the confidence to make adjustments on their own.
Also, you have some pretty really good recruits that you just got. Zoe Bershers, talk about a post player coming in from Arkansas. McKenna Christian, a guard from your home state of Wisconsin, who also knows Grace very well. When you're looking at young people like that can kind of come in and do that, what is the key intangible, shall we say, that you're looking for in your basketball players?
Well, we use a term when we watch players compete, and the term from a basketball standpoint isn't one that is very typical. The term we use is that we want players to be involved, right? So we believe in the way that we play that defensively you have to get deflections, get rebounds, take charges, help recover, make the shot difficult, then cut the next kid off, then be ready to help, then get back to your kid. So there's a lot that happens. So on the defensive end, players that are really involved in the game make a lot of things happen. They get rebounds, deflections, do a lot of things. But those sometimes happen to be the players that are also in foul trouble because they're making a lot of things happen. It's not perfect, right?
That's right.
And it's the same thing on the offensive end. We want to run a motion offense, get stops, push the ball up the court. That is a progression that we are in the midst of this year. We're able to push the ball up the court better because we're able to get stops, but we're also deeper, and we've added some size and athleticism and more understanding. And so now you can push the ball up the court, and really, ultimately, we want to be a system that is a very versatile system, where every player posts up, where every player shoots it, but now every player has to be able to pass it inside. Every player has to be able to drive. When they drive, they have to know, when their teammate drives, they have to know how to space the floor when that happens. When it gets passed inside, they have to know how to move when that happens. And then who's going to hit the offensive glass and who's going to get back. So there's a lot that takes place. So versatility and toughness are really important, but we kind of encapsulate that into the term being involved. So offensively, players that make a lot of things happen. They can shoot it, they can handle it, they can get to the rim, and kick to their teammates, they get offensive rebounds. But again, things aren't perfect with those players either, because they can make mistakes. They can force some tough shots. They may get a foul taken to the basket. And so we encourage players, we like players who are really versatile, really tough, and we kind of put that in the term of being very involved in the game. They are making things happen.
Ready for a women-forward car dealership? Rudy Luther Toyota empowers their many women on staff in sales, management, and service. Whether you are looking for a new Toyota or pre-owned vehicle, Rudy Luther Toyota has something for everyone. Every vehicle comes with a Luther Advantage. 10 cents off fuel and car wash discounts at holiday stations, Luther Advantage warranty, and 5-day return policy on pre-owned vehicles. Located just 5 minutes west of downtown Minneapolis, off 394 and General Mills Boulevard. And they're also hiring. Want to join the team but don't know where to start? Visit rudyluthertoyota.com today.
When people think of the Freemasons, they often think of secret handshakes and unusual hats, and of course, the pancake breakfast. Minnesota Masonic Charities would prefer that you think about the work that they do right here in our community. Places like the Masonic Cancer Center at the University of Minnesota, or the Masonic Children's Hospital and the Masonic Home in Bloomington. They are just a few examples of the important work that the Freemasons support here in Minnesota. As part of the largest fraternal organization in the world, Masons have consistently answered the call when it comes to charitable needs. I am happy that Minnesota Masonic Charities has chosen Minnesota Bound and this podcast as a place to help spread the word. We look forward to learning so much more about their many programs here in the weeks to come.
And yes, now I am going to talk about Natrium. We had Andrea Yak, our friend, was on the show last week, and she texted me the other day, say she went to Natrium. She's trying out a bunch of the products. I keep getting that from, I'm hearing that from a lot of my friends. They hear about it on the podcast. They go try it out. They like it. There's so many things. It can help you with inflammation, sleep, gut health. It can just be fun. You can get it candy, gummy, balm, oil, dip, or liquid form. The liquid forms a million different kinds of drinks, different flavors, different combinations of CBD or THC. Just if you go there, and you can go to a Natrium store or a Wildflower store, you'll go talk to the sales associates. They're very knowledgeable, and there are so many options. You need somebody knowledgeable to guide you when you first get there. Once you know what you like, go to natrium.com, order there. Highly recommend the experience, highly recommend the products. Very few ingredients, healthy stuff. Check it out.
Oh, that is awesome. There was one coach that I talked to as well in this new age of just texting and, and trying to be involved socially. That's such a good thing as well. You can take that off the court. This one former head coach said, I had a recruit that didn't even want to do the interview on the phone at first. Just, can we text it? And you're like, no, we can't text it. So you're also coaching in a whole different kind of head sphere for some of these young women. So, involvement when you're kind of doing the interviews takes on a whole new meaning as well.
Well, it does. And I think we look at players. This is what if I had one phrase or one sentence probably to tell you what I would like my recruiting and or coaching philosophy to be is this. I believe if we can get our 15 young ladies to compete their tails off, to play as hard as they can play while playing smart, but if they can play really hard and they can have fun doing it, they can play with a smile on their face, they can encourage each other, they can celebrate their teammates' success, then we're going to blow the roof off that bar, right? Then we're going to be good. Now, you need talent and all those type of things to go along with it. You need the size to compete in the Big Ten. But ultimately, I really believe that if our young ladies can really compete at a high level and have fun, then we're going to accomplish some things that are really special. But we also look for that in recruiting. Then who are the players that really compete? Who are the players that are making their teammates better? Who are the ones that are doing it with joy and that we have fun with? I say this a lot in recruiting to our recruits. I say we as coaches are selfish in this regard. We're with our players a lot. We're with them almost the entire year because we start in June and then they take a couple week break here or there, a week at the 4th of July. We take a couple weeks in August. We come back in the end of August or September. We are with each other. We have a couple days off at Christmas. We are with each other till hopefully late in March, early April. And then postseason begins. And then we have a break in May, April and May. And then we started all over again. So we are together a great, great deal. So selfishly, I want to be around people who are really fun to be around. I do.
Yes.
People who lift you up, people who energize you. There are different two types of people. There are energy givers, energy takers. We want to recruit energy givers to the best of our ability because it just makes the whole experience something that is really enjoyable and fun along this path and this journey of working our tails off too.
All right, we are talking with Dawn Piltzuweit, head coach of the women's basketball program at the University of Minnesota. This is your second year at the U. Last year, kudos to you, 20 wins, your 10th 20-win season. You guys went all the way to the WNIT finals. That is an accomplishment to go to a new school, get on board with people, take the women all the way to the finals, and a little bit of heartbreak. I was right along there with you. But what a season to build off of. But when I look at everything that you've done, West Virginia was right before you came here, South Dakota for a while there. What I love is that personally, it just seems for you, being born and raised in Wisconsin, basketball is your life. That's how you met your husband, Jay. I believe you guys met at high school at a basketball tournament. You went up and talked to him something about winning the state tournament. Is that right?
That is accurate. Yes. Yep. We were arch rivals. Yes. Yep, that's exactly it.
That's great. So did you go up to him first or did he go up to you first?
Well, that's a good point. So we were competing. There was a senior all-star game. Both of our high school programs were fortunate enough to win a state championship that year. And he was waiting outside the locker room for the player from his school, and they were driving back afterwards. And so I looked at him and I said, "Hey, Jay, congratulations. You guys had a great year." So I think I started the conversation, but maybe that's not exactly how he recollects that story. But, it's something that is, our family has given a lot of our time to helping grow and nourish and develop, young women that I have a chance to coach. And really our two children have been born into this setting where they've been in the gym since our daughter was 3 days old. So my first season as a head coach, our daughter was born in the middle of the season in January. And so at 3 days old, she was in a front pack carrier back with me on the court. Our son, I remember when he was really little, he'd pack his backpack full of toys and he'd have his Matchbox cars and he'd have his dinosaurs. And, and so it wasn't all about the basketball experience itself. It was about being around the people and the experience of being around great role models. And now he has a chance. He's still playing. He's playing professionally in Spain. Our daughter is playing in college at Grand Valley State, the school that I was coaching at when she was first born. Then 18 years later, she returned and she was a freshman there. So it's kind of a neat story that way. And so it's been a way for us, for our family, to experience, a shared experience with a lot of young women that I've had a chance to coach and a lot of their families too.
I love that when we hear last week we had Mara Braun from Minnesota Vixen. Also, I've had Natalie Darwitz, who played hockey at the U. And when they have kids and they're raising their sons, some of them have sons and daughters like you do. The cool thing is when they said, "Wow, Mom, I didn't realize that boys can play too."
That's exactly
that's
right.
kind of cool.
That's exactly what happened to our son. It's verbatim. When I heard Laura talking about that, I started laughing. I was like, that is a shared experience. That exactly happened to our son. He's like, I didn't know that boys played. Yes, actually, son, you could play too. So it's kind of neat. And then through his experience, I was coaching at the University of Michigan after Grand Valley. And so our son at that point in time was, 7, 8, 9, something around there. And now all of a sudden he has a chance to be around the men's program and be around John Beeline and his team.
Yeah.
And so it was something that was, he's grown up around it. And my former players have had a chance to watch our children grow and follow their path too. And so it's neat now when I go back to Grand Valley where our daughter is playing. There are so many of our alumni who live in that area who go back and say, "Oh, Lexi, I remember when you were just 4. I remember being in the hospital with you. I remember you being on road trips." And so it's neat to see them come back and follow her career, and then now watching their kids, they're coaching their own kids. And so it's just these generations of young women, girls who are continuing to grow and develop. It's just been so neat to watch.
Yeah, there's something so awesome about that circular moment in life, right? And then it's all about passion and loving people as well as the game, right?
100%. This is all about trying to bring out the best in others. And we say this, we have a program that we run outside of basketball, and we call it our Elevate program. And the mission statement behind the Elevate program is to elevate our young ladies into the most confident versions of themselves that they can be by the time they graduate from the University of Minnesota. So those may be bringing in those activities may be bringing in female speakers and mentors. And I always say it's not male bashing, but I want our young ladies to be mentored by women who have been through it and understand what that journey looks like. And it through community service and through leadership activities and bringing in leadership experts and doing whatever it is, book studies together. And, we had a moment after our game against Montana, and Amaya Battle brought this forward. Mara is really passionate about working with Special Olympics. Mara has been working with that group. And then Amaya has a group that she's worked with, the Minnesota Camp, which are adults who have some disabilities who Maya really wanted to make sure that they had a chance to come to a game. And then after the game, our players spent time with them and had a little holiday celebration and Christmas cookies and all kinds of fun stuff. And it's so special to see our young women be able to bring smiles to the faces of others, to lift them up. But it's as much for our players that that they are growing and developing, and they understand we have 3 expectations in our program: be your best, be thankful, and enjoy the precious present. And so when you're around and you're in different settings and you have a chance to learn those lessons, you have a chance to really understand how thankful we need to be for what we have, or to enjoy the moment and how special that is. Those are just moments that are really, really special to us, and it's great to see our young women just be so in that moment at that time.
Oh, those are 3 huge things that I think we talk about taking it forward in life, right? You need those 3 things. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like the Winnie the Pooh quote when Winnie the Pooh said, "We didn't realize we were making memories. We just thought we were having fun." And I think that's really what we want this to be about. We're going to teach lessons. We're going to help you grow to the best of our ability. We're going to challenge you, because I think that's really important, change and growth is uncomfortable. We always say there's no comfort in the growth zone, but there's no growth in the comfort zone either. So to continue to grow and get better and develop, we're going to stretch you and make you feel uncomfortable until you feel comfortable with that, and then we're going to continue to grow. But it's also intended to put a smile on your face and have some fun while we're doing this too.
Now, when you were at Michigan Tech, did you always know at some point, maybe I want to go into coaching? Because this just seems like a natural, because to be a coach, you have to know the game. You have to know how to, kind of pare it down so a younger person knows how to play the concepts and use their athleticism. But there also is that mental aspect and this motivational aspect, and to teach them about the team. How did you know that when you were in college at Michigan Tech, or was it something that came later?
Well, actually, my intention when I was in grade school, high school, I thought I was going to go to school and be a kindergarten teacher. And then I decided I was going to go the secondary education route. So I was going to be maybe a 6th or 7th through 12th grade teacher, biology, math. And then I always intended to be a 6th grade basketball coach. And I don't really know why it's so specific that's the grade I was planning on coaching. Grade. But I do think it's because in that age, the coach that I had at that time challenged us to be really good and demanded that we give our best effort. And 6th grade basketball coach, and it just is something that happened. And now, quite a few years later, still enjoying it and having some fun with it.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, I'm telling you, Dawn, as I'm sitting here talking to you, I am writing things down. I'm going to get the book, The Obstacles, the Way, Every Moment Matters. I'm like scribbling like little notes. You're inspiring me as we do this. So I'm trying to like elevate myself while we're doing this. So I can see why the players... Yeah, I can see why they love to play for you. Whenever I hear Brian Flores talk about the Vikings defense, he says the key element this year is I want them to have joy. Like I want them to enjoy it along the way and have joy with each other. And that's kind of what I hear coming from you as well. And that's so important with the pressures of college and not only the demands physically and being an athlete and people looking at them, but they also have to get their grades and, they're also being young women in college as well. So that aspect of having joy, being thankful, being, in that precious present moment. These are all huge lessons. And so you're inspiring me. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Yes, the book, The Precious Present, is usually the first book that we read. And it's about a 15-minute read, a Spencer Johnson book that actually I was given my husband, was my boyfriend at the time, and then he gave that to me for a Christmas present. And so read it, and now have read it with, I think, just about every team that I've had a chance to be a head coach for. And now that's a gift that we give to our players to help them understand. And I think that's, again, it goes to that response of you can look at, and it's really easy in this day and age, not just in college athletics, but certainly it is in college athletics, of the grass is green over there. The grass is greener over there. But the reality is the grass is green where you're going to water it. So if you are really truly where your feet are at and you are in that moment and enjoying that moment, it gives you a chance to be the best that you can be. At the same time, we also believe that it gives you a chance to maybe minimize some of the stress and the pressure that college age young women are under. And I do believe this. I believe high school age kids, I think that college age young ladies and men and people in general are just under more stress and pressure than they've ever been before. When I went to college, you just got a degree and you were going to get a job.
Right.
Now there's a pressure of, well, what exactly am I going to do? I'm being asked in 7th, 8th grade to make a decision. Where am I going to go to college? What am I going to do? What am I going to study? What's my dream job? How do you know what your dream job is going to be? And so and now we're asking our young ladies to give their best effort in the classroom, on the basketball court, in the community, and as a teammate. We're asking them to give so much, that if you're just doing that and now all of a sudden things don't go perfectly in any sphere that you're in, whether that's the academic world and all of a sudden you didn't do well on an exam or a test or a quiz, or you go to college and you get your first B ever in your career, that's a stress. There's a stress, and we're asking them to give their best effort, but that's also creating a stress in that world. Well, now you leave that circle and you come to basketball. Well, if you're still worried about your academics, then your mind's not going to be where it needs to be from a basketball standpoint, and you're not going to be able to perform at a high level. But now basketball's not always perfect either. Something didn't go right, whatever that is. I missed a shot, missed a box out, didn't perform well, we didn't win the game, whatever it is. And now you have to go study for your Bio 151 exam that you have later. Mm-hmm. Well, if your mind is still in basketball, you're not going to be able to be your best in their academic world. And then there's the social sphere that goes with that too. And so juggling all three of those balls is really a challenge. And so one of the ways that we try to help our players to the best of our ability is be in the moment where you're at. Put a smile on your face to the best of your ability, be your best, be thankful, enjoy the precious present, be in that moment. And then maybe it helps a little to alleviate some of the stress. Not that you get rid of it completely, but maybe it minimizes some of it. Because I do believe that our college age females now, and males too, but college age females who are around, they're asked to do so much. They are. There was a day and time when we could say, when I played in college, nobody knew your stats. If you wanted to see the stats after the game, you had to go to the gas station the next day and buy a newspaper and look at the stats. But now everything is out there immediately. And then there are highlights out there. And then for a while we could say to our student athletes, stay off of social media. Now it's this day and age of NIL, and we're saying build your brand, so be on social media, but don't pay attention to the negative things on social media. Well, that doesn't work that way.
Exactly.
And so again, our student athletes are being asked to do so much. There's so many pressures on them that our goal is to help them enjoy what they're doing and love it.
Oh, that's amazing. And I think adults can take all of that advice as well. Stay off social media, but do it to promote yourself or help yourself, but try not to take what I think someone said, if you wouldn't take advice from someone, don't take criticism from that person. You know,
I've heard
so
that too, right?
so I think that that's maybe the good way going forward. Well, Dawn, thank you so much. Next up, you have Houston on Friday, right? You go down for the Big Easy Classic. So when do you guys leave for that?
We will leave on Wednesday morning, and so we will
Okay.
play Houston and Louisiana. And I've never been to a tournament in New Orleans, really excited about it. So, one of the things that we think is important is that we have an experience while we're on the road, too. And so, we have little team activities coordinated. We're going to do a tour of the French Quarter, a walking tour. Hopefully, we get to hear some live music. But then we'll celebrate Thanksgiving together, actually, on Wednesday evening, so that we have a day to kind of digest all that food that we have. And then on Thursday, we'll probably enjoy some of the fun parts of New Orleans as well. And I told our nutritionist that I think it's important that we have beignets while we're there. So she was looking for
heck yeah.
a place to deliver some beignets. But we're really excited about an opportunity to go on the road and look at what that looks like. You know, you have to be able to perform at home. You have to be able to perform on the road. You have to play against different styles of play. Houston and Louisiana both are teams that are very fast, athletic. They pressure you. They make you feel really, really uncomfortable. They attack you. They push up the court. And that's important for us to see those styles of play. Houston, obviously now a member of the Big 12. Louisiana, actually, we have a common opponent last year in the semifinals of the WNIT, I think it was. We played against Troy, and Louisiana beat Troy last year in their conference tournament. So we have a little familiarity in that regard, but I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us as a group to continue to bond and grow that connectivity, and also a way for us to continue to get better on the basketball court by facing different types of teams.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing how you guys do down there. And my little pro tip, Cafe Du Monde. It's in the French Quarter,
yes!
and they have beignets. And it's kind of, you know, it's nothing fancy. Weather's probably great. You can sit right outside there and just get all that powdered sugar all over yourselves. It's fantastic.
You know, I was recruiting in New Orleans last time I was there, and I was there for one day, and I had a game off, and everyone talked about Cafe Du Monde, and I actually went to it, but the line to get in was so long I was going to miss the next game, so I just kind of took a picture and left. That's all I did, but with the amount of people that were out there, it must be really good.
Oh, it is. It's amazing. It's something that you say you did. So if you guys are walking around the French Quarter, try to hit it early, and then you can kill two birds with one stone. You can get your beignets and hit something. Well, Dawn Piltzuweit, thank you so much for joining us today, and happy Thanksgiving to you, the team, your family, and I'm thankful for this amazing conversation. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Dawn.
I'll see you soon. Hopefully I'll be out there to see you in person on the basketball court. I really enjoy this. You're the best.
Well,
Thanks
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much.